All right, it looks like that interception is going to put a wrap on our freshman. Yeah, and other things going on right now. We're just about to get started. The soccer scrimmages here at the stadium. The volleyball scrimmages are just about to get underway in the Torrey Gym. We still have the girls tennis team scrimmage going on until 6:15 over at the tennis courts. And in about 15 minutes, the girls and boys cross country races will begin here at the track. How that takes place is they will run a lap here at the track to begin their race. They'll head out to their course to run their course, and then they will make their way back to the track area and run a lap going on until finish out their race over at the tennis court. Give them a nice round. And in about 15 minutes, the girls and boys cross country races will begin here at the track. Want to let you know that the 12-man trailer is at the they'll head out south end of the stadium. If you're wanting to get your make their way back here for the tennis team scrimmage, going on until finish out variety of items tennis court. Give them a nice round about 15 minutes. The girls and boys cross country races football program begin here at the track. Decals. Want to let you know that the 12-man Get set, go. Okay, and currently on the turf we have the JV soccer squad having their scrimmage. The varsity squad is warming up, and they'll be on the turf in just a little while. As the girls cross country team heads out to their course, the boys team will get lined up, and we'll give them a countdown and head them off to their race as well. year. They're always in need of volunteers for our events such as the Tournament of Champions, awards banquets, 50-50 sales, and state team recognition banquets. So if you're interested in volunteering, find the Booster Club table and sign up. I'm sure they would appreciate your assistance. Another reminder that the 12th Man trailer can be found at the south end of the football stadium here. So if you're in need of brand new swag for this upcoming football season, you can make your way down to the 12th Man trailer. And another reminder that if you're in need of some refreshment this evening, the junior class has the concession stand up and running. And the Booster Club has also brought Kona Ice out tonight if you're looking for something cool on this Friday evening. Looks like with that save, we're going to have the end of our JV soccer scrimmage, and in just a couple of moments, the varsity squad will take the field for about another half an hour. After that, we'll have our sophomore football scrimmage, which will go from 6:30 till 7:30 this evening. We'll follow that up with all of our team introductions at 7 o'clock. Cap off the evening with the cheerleaders leading us through the school songs and the varsity football scrimmage. Recognize again that when more than one event is going on at the same time, there may be a delay for when those get up on our YouTube channel, as we are not allowed to live stream two events at the same time. But at any time you want to check out WCHS Athletics in action and aren't able to be there, you can go to the WCHS webpage and click on the link WCHS Athletics YouTube channel. Again, on the turf momentarily, we're going to have the start of our varsity soccer scrimmage. We currently have our boys and girls cross-country teams out on their course. They'll probably be making their way back to the track and taking a lap or two around the track to end their race while this varsity soccer scrimmage is going on. The volleyball team still have their scrimmage taking place inside Torrey Gym. That'll go till 6:30. And we'll follow up our soccer scrimmage here on the turf with our sophomore football scrimmage. I can see some of our runners out there in the distance. Looks like they're going to be making their way back to the track area very shortly. So again, give them a nice round of applause as they pass in front of the seats and end their race this evening. Varsity soccer scrimmage is off and running. scrimmage. They'll be wrapping up at about 6:30. That's also when inside the volleyball scrimmages will be wrapping up. I believe those are the only two things happening at the moment. At 6:30 here on the turf, the sophomore football team will have their scrimmage for around a half an hour. And then we will get to the introduction of all of our athletes. That includes some of the athletes that participated earlier, including girls tennis, our girls swim team, and we'll even be introducing our boys and girls golf squads that can't really have a scrimmage anywhere near the high school itself. special events that'll be going on during our home games this year. Of course, 1 week from tonight, we will have our home opener versus Highland, and that will be our senior night recognition before the varsity game, where we will recognize the senior football team members as well as our senior football cheerleaders. We'll also have the annual senior sprint, so if you're a senior student in attendance, make sure you're here again 1 week from tonight to participate in the annual senior sprint. A few weeks after that, September 9th, we will have our Honor Our Heroes night. As we take on Metamora in our Mid-Illini Conference opener. That'll also be our pork producers giveaways night. And we'll have Kurtz Farms cooking up pork chops and pork burgers on September 9th. That will also be the senior night for our marching Panthers.
Awesome. So I just
that are part of the marching band before the varsity game.
I just kind of set it up myself, though.
The home game September 23rd is our homecoming game this year versus Limestone.
Soccer right now, I think it's varsity.
The WCHS Booster Club will also host the Taste of Panther during our homecoming game on September 23rd. And the homecoming parade will be at 2 o'clock that afternoon.
So if you want to test that microphone,
our home game October 7th will be the Little Cheer Camp performance. And if you're looking to sign up a youngster for that, you can find information on the WCHS athletic page. And our final home regular season football game will be October 21st. And that's where we will have the announcement of the WCHS 2022 Hall of Fame class. There will also be a Hall of Fame ceremony that will take place on Saturday, October 22nd, from 2 to 5 p.m. in the school NPR. And it looks like we've wrapped up the soccer portion of tonight's scrimmage. How about a big round of applause for our JV and varsity soccer teams? We'll announce those squads at around 7 o'clock, along with all of our other fall athletic participants and our cheerleading squad. Taking the turf next for about the next half an hour will be the members of our sophomore football team. They'll go for about a half an hour, and then we'll get to the introductions of all of our fall sport athletes. If your squad coaches, if your squad is not currently participating in a scrimmage, you need to make sure that you are getting all set to be lined up for those introductions right around 7 o'clock.
So how do you get this to go live?
It's already live.
Oh, so it's out there right now.
Yeah, there's just no one talking. It's just dead silence, basically.
Okay.
I have the ambient music of them talking, but it's very quiet.
Yeah.
So that we don't get the crowd, but that we can
If you are making your way out to the stadium after attending some of our other scrimmages this evening and are in need of refreshment, the junior class is offering concessions down at the Pantherplex concession stand at the north end of the bleachers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a reminder that the Booster Club has also brought out Kona Ice to provide refreshments this evening as well, and they are located towards the north end of the bleachers as well.
So about 7:20 we start on game night.
Sure thing.
Now tonight I think Mr. Medlock said
If you're wanting to make your way down to the other end of the stadium this evening, the self-man trailer is set up down at the south end. If you're looking to purchase some Panther football gear for this upcoming season.
So you do what you gotta do. This is great. Yeah, I just know that Coach Bauer and I had no alternative.
And a reminder to football parents, especially of sophomore football members, after their scrimmage is over, you will have a short amount of time to go down to the north end zone area if you want to get a picture of your player in uniform on the turf
You want to
before
even
we
do like a
begin
four
the
camera setup? I
introductions
might have
of
one on
all of the
ground, one on balcony, and the
teams.
two on opposite
Oh,
sides of the balconies.
man.
And I can do it. Last year they just had a bunch of cables ran, but you can do it Wi-Fi enabled without cables.
So I met with Joey and Larry, and they are all about that idea.
No, they
Getting
were like
somebody on
really.
the ground, getting somebody
Yeah.
on the floor, somebody elevated, different angle on a different side of the floor.
Yeah. And I brought a lot of my stuff too, so I have my own things.
So is this something career-wise you're gonna do?
Yeah, I have a scholarship for Columbia College for a film, and I'm trying to get into doing stuff. This is my 4th year doing like digital video and TAing. I did an independent study in film last year. Oh, I can go on and on. I have an EIN number. I'm a sole proprietor for my own business, going around doing little business commercials for people. I do a bunch of stuff.
Good for you. What's up, Mr. Armstrong? How are you, sir? This is our guy, Mr. Calhoun. Here he is. He is a guru. We're gonna have 2 cameras up here by Highland. One that watches the entire game and goes back and forth, and then he's gonna put a second camera up here that goes individual. So like quarterback makes a play, pop. That's next level stuff. We've come a long way since the huddle cam that was delayed
Looks
by
like
5
we're about
seconds.
ready to begin
It
our
is still
sophomore
delayed,
football
so I'm just
scrimmage.
using this one.
Yeah, absolutely. That huddle cam was a nightmare. We had people that turned off and said they couldn't stand watching the delay. What we got now is this sophomores.
I think maybe.
Yes, it is.
So the sound it's picking up right now is not through this microphone at all. It's
I
only
actually
through
have
the
it hooked
camera.
up to his microphone. So it's hooking up to his microphone right now. I have it led through, and what it's doing is it's just really dimmed it down, so it's quiet enough to where when you guys start, you can hear you guys mainly. The
Yeah.
whole point of that is just so that way there's some sound, some announcement feed going through.
Right. Give it a real effect.
Yeah, that way it's not just dead silence, you know?
Right.
No Bernie? He was not on there.
I didn't see. I didn't watch. We've been up here talking. I wish I would have watched.
He's not there.
Was it JV or was it varsity?
Oh,
Did you watch a little bit, Coach?
like the last 10 minutes or so. 15. Unless he buzzed his head. But I still think I'd recognize him.
So are you a senior
Yeah.
in Columbia? Is that New York?
That's in Chicago.
Okay. So you'll be living up in Chicago.
Pretty scary.
Are you ready for that?
No, it's expensive.
That's where Coach Armstrong. You were just outside of Chicago, weren't you? Concordia?
Yeah. Oak Park.
Yeah, it's real close to Columbia. Guys, we have a whole 3 viewers. It's impressive.
I wonder if the school advertised.
It's not on the website for some reason. It's just
want-
on YouTube.
You want it to be?
I want it to be. I don't know what you
So-
guys do to put it on the
So
website.
that Highland game, I say that we really think about how we're going to advertise and let people know that this is an option out there that they can watch it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's the
'cause-
big thing is like they never really advertise it.
Right.
It's just go live.
Yeah, tonight's a trial, so if we have 3 viewers, we have 3 viewers. But Highland, though,
You're
there's
down
a,
to 2.
yeah, look at that. They're like our feed.
It's real impressive, guys.
reminder, coaches and participants, that will be getting announced
We're just gonna
in about 20 minutes. Make
go
sure
over to the
you're
big soccer
finding
one
your
real quick,
coach,
which is
getting
Panther.
lined up.
Huh?
We're
It's
ready
so late,
to
it's still
begin
on
the
soccer, but I'm
announcements
gonna have to go in our video.
right around 7 o'clock.
Oh, is that the huddle cam that was just showing that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Steve Stein covers like all the Washington City Council stuff and stuff for the school.
Okay.
It's like whenever there's hirings, resignations, he reports on that.
We'll go back to this one. I think you can only fix it when you're not live. So,
Why don't you go ahead and if you turn off the live feed, can you get right back on the same YouTube link?
you could, but then they do two separate videos.
We wouldn't want
Yeah, you don't want to do that. You said be at 6:45?
Yeah.
6:45, that's 4 minutes. Better be here.
He'll walk up the stairs at 6:44.
Yeah.
44. I can make fun of Mr. Goff. He's my 0-hour PE.
You give it to him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to hearing this. I might take in what you say to him.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I bet this is Coach Power right here texting me telling me he's going to be 35 seconds late. Army, did you eat something?
I did not. Ooh, that was rough. Wait, the extra point attempt.
Didn't go in?
No, it barely made it to the back of the end zone in the air. We're gonna give it another go here.
There we go. This one's fun. Feel it.
Hey,
There you go.
it was a lot better. I mean, he kicked it directly to the referee there.
Here's one of our boys.
The one with the Seminole. The one with the Seminole. Oh, were you talking about Gabe walking by? So you're talking about Andre?
I just saw him.
At least he cut the hat off. The helmet.
What's that?
I have zoomed in right now. At least he cut the helmet off.
I don't know.
Maybe a half count. He face planted. I don't think I heard it. They should do stuff for wrestling, I'm telling you.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. I bet if you work it, they will.
That means they can't wrestle.
How you guys looking this year?
Wrestling?
Good as always?
I hope so.
You'll be good. There we go. Retired jersey.
Oh, they're retiring the jersey?
No, I'm just going through. Todd Foster's jersey's retired. Scott Weenus's is retired. Mark Dennis's is retired. Did you know?
reminder to sophomore football parents as we end their scrimmage, if you'd like to get a quick picture of your player in uniform down on the field,
Nathan West.
you might want to be ready down at the north end of the
Oh, yeah, I know.
stadium
Yeah.
as soon as their scrimmage ends.
He works for Nuke.
You know I get known after that though. That's a big job.
Braden.
Braden.
Let's see what he looks like. What time is it? Coach Bauer's 1 minute late. Give it to him. 55. Bauer, you know this guy? Bobby Witherall. Malik. How do you say the last name, Blake? McCarron? 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 Alright. These are all guys that
Sophomore on their roster, huh?
Miller, Rappaport.
Go ahead and test your headset, see if that works. It's not on right now, but see if you just replay your voice.
Brady Finn, Brady.
You should be able to hear each other.
Check. We're back. We're back. I thought we were gonna get Army on camera. Guest host. The trifecta. You're gonna give us the football perspective of football. Did you ever play football? It's not just straight grappling. What's your weight class?
148.
Oh yeah, get a little draft. You need like a bag.
He's doing pretty good, yeah. I think
Will this work?
he got 7 weeks, but I told him, you know, like what we need to keep going if I'm going to keep doing this for
We're about 10 minutes away from the introductions of all of our fall sports teams. Might be a good opportunity to run to the concession stand area, get a refreshment or something to snack on during all those introductions, help support the junior class. Or stop by the Kona Ice tents and pick up some Kona Ice, provided tonight by the Booster Club.
Coach B, you going to Keps after this? I'll be there. I might be in the fetal position, but yes, I'll be there. I'm tired. Love this kind of time.
Another reminder that season passes for football and volleyball home games are available near the north end of the bleachers on the Pantherplex side. Stop by and pick up your pass and be sure not to miss a game as the Panthers compete for Mid-Illini championships this season.
I guess they get it worked out too, don't they?
Coach Davis. Coach Davis, Aaron Davis, right? He was for a while, yeah.
And it looks like we have the end of our sophomore football scrimmage. How about a nice round of applause for the sophomore football team?
You guys are 10 minutes out.
Again, parents, if you want a quick photo, you can make your way down to the north end zone real quickly to get a quick shot of your player in uniform.
We go on at 7. I don't mind going on with the people coming through, but yeah, we'll choose that. This is just a trial.
We'll be getting to our introductions in just a few minutes here. After our introductions, we'll have introductions of our cheerleaders at the end of those, and they will help lead us through our school fight songs, varsity and loyalty. And then we will get to the end of the evening with our varsity football scrimmage.
Saying the names. That way we're not talking over Mr. Parrott introducing.
Yeah.
He's going to introduce 200 kids here.
Oh my.
Yeah, so
when that's done.
when that's done, that's when we'll jump on.
Oh, cool. Good.
They don't want to. People that are going to watch that are going to really want to watch their kids get introduced. Not Coach and I chew the fat
Right.
about football
And I've got no notes. I've got no. I
and the
don't know.
TOC. TOC.
This is amazing here.
We can share the book. Wish I had a second. Want me to scare this kid? Did you see that kid?
Yeah, he just walked away. I bet you he saw you in your corner of your eye. He just walked away.
The fun we have up in the box. Somebody asked me if we do this for the winter. I was active today, boys, out there. I was active on the old tweet machine.
Were you?
And then Jake tweeted at the guy. So this guy said something to the effect of, "Wish this game was in Chicago, like why Washington?" And then Jake came right back at him and said, "Why don't you come on down, buy a 5-day pass, and if you think it's not a very good tournament, I'll refund all of your money." And then I came in with, "No, this is what Jake said." So he said, "Ouch, this guy did. Need to get this game moved to Chicago. It'd be a great season opener." And then Jake said, "It's actually at the WCHS TOC, some of the top high school prospects in the nation. Come on down and check it out. It's arguably the top big skiing tournament in the country." And then he said, the guy said, "Maybe I will. I'd rather it still be in Chicago." And then Jake said, "Tell you what, come down, buy a 5-day pass. If you're not entertained or impressed, I'll refund you all your money." Twitter banter. Nothing. Crickets. Twitter banter at its best. Yeah. Funny doesn't think Burn Dog was out there.
He was there. He was in my lifting class though.
he was in PE today.
Who knows?
Did you guys lift?
No, they let listen to me talk all hour.
They what?
They had to listen to me talk all hour. Demo. I had to go every single day.
Oh, boys. Did you show them that complicated one that we did last night?
It's so free now right now. Are you sore still?
I love
The
it.
boys said they were sore today.
Yeah, it's a good one. If you did it properly and you pushed your weight,
So I Googled it again today. They call it Cuban press. It starts here, up, and then you rotate slowly.
Another good evening, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Washington Community High School and the WCHS Booster Club. We want to welcome you again to Inside Panther Night 2022. We thank you for your attendance and hope you enjoyed the scrimmages this evening. We'll cap off the end of the night with a cheerleading leading us in the school songs, followed by a scrimmage by the varsity football team. The athletic department would like to thank the administration and the Board of Education for all their support of Washington athletics. Please, if you have a chance, tell them thanks. The students, community, and staff of WCHS appreciates their hard work to make this a great place for kids. Before we get to the introduction of all of our athletes, we're going to direct your attention down to the field level, where our athletic director, Mr. Herb Knobloch, and our superintendent, Dr. Kyle Freeman, will address the crowd.
We'd like to welcome everybody here to our Inside Panther Night. It's probably one of the coolest nights we've had in about 10 years in August. It's been great. Shout out to the junior class at the concessions, our booster club. Kind of want to remind everybody, especially on homecoming night, the booster clubs work very hard. They'll have 6 vendors here for Taste of Panther on homecoming night, September 23rd. I want to reach out and thank all the fall coaches and also let the administration and school board a huge thanks. This fall, starting in the last 2 weeks, we've had over 400 students doing something after 3 o'clock in sports or activities, and over 200 marching band members. So, if you put that together, yes, over half our school does something after 3 o'clock. That is awesome. Great grades. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Freeman. We're going to start our announcements and then on to the varsity game. Dr. Freeman. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for making it out tonight, and thank you for supporting our kids. It's always a lot of fun to see them come out and participate. I hope you can make many of these games. So on behalf of the Board of Education and everybody here, let's have a great year.
Thank you, Mr. Knobloch and Dr. Freeman. At this time, we would like to introduce all members of our fall sports teams. All teams have been practicing this week and making progress towards competing at a high level during the upcoming fall season. We will be identifying team members and coaches and ask that you hold your applause until all team members and coaches for that particular sport have been announced. To start off our introductions this evening, let's meet our 2022 Washington Panther varsity football team. And we will announce them in number order. Come on, fellas, put a little pep in your step here. right, here we go. Here are the members of our 2022 varsity football roster. Number 1, Seth Carbaugh. 2, Kaden McQuarrie. 3, Caden Noel. 4, Preston Nelson. 5, Eli Bear. 7, Ian Nettles. 8, Jack Divinez. 10, Madden Mendoza. 11, Tyler Brown. 13, Jackson Sonderman. 14, Jake Stewart. 15, Mitch Coughlin. 17, Kyle Ennis. 18, Jacob Luer. 23, Zachary Ryan. 24, Nathan West. 25, Jacob Walker. 26, Owen Blackerby. 27, Brady Finn. 29, Kyson Ford. 30, Eli Pappas. 31, Mateo Seaman. 32, Ethan Schofield. 34, Brayson Barth. 41, EJ Phillips. 42, Nick Gomez. 44, Jace Harlan. 46, Julian Frank. 53, Aiden O'Brien. 55, Noah Wiley. 64, Tate Lule. 65, Robert Martin. 70, Henry Warwick. 72, Zach Diver. 74, Tyler Bright. 83, Timmy Smith. 84, Bobby Witherell. 87, Ethan Chadwick. 88, Sam Blackburn. 94, Soren Byler-Dan. 95, Jackson Wind. 97, Garrett Cox. 98, Malik McCarron. And 99, Keegan Ingham. The head coach of the varsity football team is Daryl Crouch. The varsity assistant coaches are Todd Stevens, Kyle Wisher, Mark O'Neill, Zach Davis, and Rob Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022 varsity football team. And our next squad that will be making their way onto the field are the team that just wrapped up their scrimmage, the members of our sophomore football squad. And we will again announce them in number order. Starting with number 6, Griffin Hawley. 9, Tyler Humphrey. 16, Brody Schultz. 19, Camden Augustine. 20, Hunter Reed. 21, Evan Reed. 22, Tucker Boswell. 28, Carter Quinn. 35, Logan Naylor. 38, Thomas Dietrich. 39, Miles Gilliam. 43, Xavier Bullens. 48, Andre Lewis. 49, Noah Bell Lorenzen. 54, AJ Burks. 58, Jacob Goff. 59, Cole Pettit. 61, Jarrett Boswell. 66, Micah McCoy. 68, Jackson Stewart. 71, Miller Rampenthal. 73, Luke Hoffman. 75, Eric Daughtry. 78, Cash Wisher. 85, Dylan Brabson. 86, John Blundy. 89, Carter Prina. 92, Jake Van Quickebeck. 93, Ethan Gerardo. And 96, Will Olmstead. The head coach of the sophomore football team is Gary Beard. The assistant coaches are Aaron Davis, with volunteer coaches Danny Thornton, Roger Horton, and Dakota Bullard. And to wrap up our football team squads, coming onto the field now are the members of our 2022 freshman football team. Again, on number order. Starting with number 1, Jack Maley. 2, Owen Klein. 3, Hayden Hawksworth. 5, AJ Jones. 7, Isaac Lakin. 8, Cooper Reardon. 9, Aiden Flugel. 10, Walker Roberts. 11, Will Blackerby. 15, Noah Flederfer. 19, Stephen Searle. 20, Caleb Green. 21, Thomas Windsor. 22, Logan Skaggs. 23, Parker Westerfield. 24, Colt Craghead. 26, Logan McKinney. 27, Drew Coleman. 28, Anson Zeiser. 29, Dawson Deal. 30, Jaden Hawkins. 32, Cruz Broly. 34, Evan Deasy. 35, Joe Smith. 36, Mac Jones. 37, Connor Hurd. 41, Caden Ricky. 45, Layart DeMay. 47, Andrew Tharp. 49, Will Freeman. 55, Sean Thornton. 57, Braden Brown. 58, Anthony Pareda Lopez. 59, Eli Phillips. 61, Josh Hopper. 62, Nathan Manassian. 65, Wyatt Lehman. 66, Cannon Foster. 68, Wyatt Jones. 69, Caden Smith. 70, Joey Bradshaw. 74, Tristan Nelson. 76, Noble Morgan. 80, Caden Chadwick. 82, Matt Robinson. 83, Anthony Barnes. 86, Fred Dama. 88, James Johnson. And 99, Adler Hudson. The freshman football team head coach is Cale Dom, assisted by Nick Beard, with volunteer coaches Dan Walter and Travis Engstrom. The squads coming on to the field are the members of your freshman, sophomore, and varsity volleyball teams. We will announce these teams in numerical order, starting with the freshman squad, then sophomores, and then the varsity roster.
I would be ready for a while. I do have to get home by 8 o'clock. My PD's on at 8 o'clock. That's the show. Thought I'd let you guys know that. Yeah, 7:59, I'm signing out. It's just getting good.
I know the game's not over, but we
Nye County in Vegas is calling my name. Nothing better than Gwinnett County.
All right, working our way across the field from left to right. In the orange, we have the members of our freshman volleyball team. Number 0, Ali Bonso. 1, Ava McKell. 2, Delaney Yoder. 4, Audrey Taylor. 5, Bella Kuzmano. 6, Brooklyn Schulte. 7, Kennedy Budd. 8, Haley Ashley. 9, Devin Mykush. Maybe. 10, Mackenzie Valentine. 12, Ruby Fair. 13, Macy Ergot. 16, Lucy Hireman. 20, Jenna Spezio. 22, Neve Aranju. 24, Vivian Essig. And 25, Gabrielle Ruppel. The head coach of the freshman volleyball team is Victoria Worsfold. Now moving on to the sophomore team. Number 1, Mazzy O'Brien. 2, Brooke Kovac. 4, Elena Gray. 5, Krista Baker. 6, Brooklyn Schulte. 7, Aubrey Fierkob. 8, Grace Brayman. 9, Cammie Barth. 10, Andrea McMurray. 11, Katie Bishop. 12, Addie Mueller. 13, Bailey Parrott. 16, Becca McDougall. 20, Natalie Casey. And 25, Danny Gaudet. The head coach of the sophomore volleyball team is Shauna Burnham. And now here are the members of your varsity volleyball team. Starting with number 1, Cammie Barth. 4, Lily Clark. 5, Katie Bishop. 6, Paige Durr. 7, Grace Scribner. 8, Gabby Lucas. 9, Elena Catalado. Or Cataldo, maybe. 10, Grace Zarley. 11, Malone McKinley. 13, Jory Dowling. 15, Terriana Jones. 16, Sam Pence. And 17, Becca McDougall. The head coach of the varsity volleyball team is Carrie Dowling. She is assisted by Bailey Little and Mandy Schermerhorn. Our next squads coming onto the turf are the members of the JV and varsity soccer teams. We will announce those first with the JV squad, then followed by the varsity squad,
I really have no idea.
My notes tell me to announce them in jersey number order. However, my roster that I was given does not have them in jersey roster number order, so I'm just going to announce them alphabetically. We'll start with the members of the JV squad. Daniel Buck, John Cliff, Tyne Davis, Colin Early, Keegan Eddy, Ethan Gottler, Mason Hall, Jackson Leneber, Jackson McGregor, Max Meinhold, Devin Miller, Trent Novi, Nathan Powers, Isaac Reeks, Luke Robertson, Liam Roy, Hudson Scribner, Brody Stafford, and Elliot Wetstein. The head coach of the JV soccer team is Daniel Sinclair, with volunteer coach Nick Finney. And now here are the members of the varsity soccer team, again in alphabetical order, starting with Osric Alig, Reed Beasley, Mitch Coughlin, Rob Gorman, Wesley Hartman, Keegan Ingham, Ashton Miller, Eric Nolte, Eddie Pappas, Tate Provost, Aiden Renshaw, Isla Richardson, Andrew Smith, Garrett Spawn, Braden Stafford, Nick Weesey, Eddie Winkler, and Bernie Wynn. The head coach of the varsity soccer team is Chad Cliff. The assistant coach is Nathan Sidwell. Our next teams to be announced are going to be the members of both the Fresh Soft and varsity girls tennis teams.
Flowers somewhere. I wonder if they took them all as a family. They're tight. Yeah. That's right. They're tight. Who we got? What's this? Tennis? Maybe Nick Finney's coaching this too.
And we will start with the Fresh Soft team that has been broken up into two squads, the orange squad and the black squad. We're going to announce the orange squad first in alphabetical order, and then we'll move to the black squad. So Fresh Soft team, orange squad, Gracie Alexander, Caitlin Bach, Isabella Carter, Eve DeSutter, Jaden Goody, Elena Gutierrez, Annabelle Heil, Tabitha M, Addison Isbell, Ella Oliver, Carly Pettit, Mia Pruitt, Annika Rosenboom, and Sienna Uppel. Now the black squad for Fresh Soft, Britt Bentley, Brianna Blankenship, Lydia Engstrom, Giovanna Green, Kennedy Harvey, Kendall Hiller, Sia Iyer, and Reagan Lee. The head coach of the Fresh Soft team is April Wenzel. Volunteer assistant coach is Brian DeSutter. And now here are the members of the varsity girls tennis team, again in alphabetical order. Darby Geis, Sophia Geis, Haley Gerlach, Annabelle Heil, Kylie Holub, Kaylee Johnson, Elliot Lambert, Madeline Phillips, Anika Rosenboom, Alyssa Rosenboom, Lauren Ryan, and Miriam Zules. The head coach of the girls varsity soccer team is Gary Garver.
Go play hard. Yeah, some of them are nice.
Our next group of athletes making their way onto the turf are the WCHS members of our girls swim team. Our girls swim program co-ops with both Morton and East Peoria. They were not required to be in attendance this evening, so we'll just announce the members that are from here at WCHS in alphabetical order. And these range from freshmen all the way through seniors. Here are our WCH members of the girls swim team. Ruth Brown, Ada Brown, Ramona Brown, Ella Krull, Jenna Flessner, Rebecca Hatton, Claire Heil, Amelia Hines, Jess Herman, Ava Hubler, Alyssa Jarnigan, Emma Johnson, Kelsey Lauterbach, Nora Nabban, Zion Rinkenberger, Finley Smith, Avery Strubar, Reese Sutherland, Jasmine Williams, Georgia Williams, Addison Zelensky, and Elizabeth Zules. The head coach of the girls swim team is Kathleen Tullickson. The assistant coach is Tom Smith, and the diving coach is Jack Clifford. Our next squads coming on to the turf are the members of both the boys and girls golf teams. We will announce the boys team first in alphabetical order, followed by the girls team also in alphabetical order. They're golfers, they're used to just walking slowly. All right, here we go. The members of the boys golf team. Samuel Bagley, Pierce Bernius, Cormac Brode, Matthew Campamanis, CJ Duncan, Sam Fair, Nathan Hollum, Carter Hefta, Gabriel Hobart, Corey Holub, Brady Johnson, Grant Knutson, Caleb Cry, Jackson McQuarrie, Jesse Morgan, Troy Reiser, Jacob Rose, Andrew Schmidgall, Gavin Schurers, David Stevenart, Carter Wilson, and Dominic Yoakum. The head coach of the boys golf team is Dan Garski. He is assisted by Grant Upstream and volunteer coach Ryan Snell. And now here are the members of our girls golf team, again in alphabetical order, starting with Ridley Beasley, Lainey Dravis, Molly Fleshman, Dia Iyer, Addie Lucas, and Kaylee Robinson. The head coach of the girls golf team is Dan Marsh, and he is also assisted again by Grant Uptring. Our next group of athletes making their way onto the turf are the members of both the boys and girls cross country teams. We will again announce the boys squad first in alphabetical order, followed by the girls squad, also in alphabetical order.
See you guys.
They're tired because they already ran once. That's why we're not going to urge them to move quickly across the field. All right, here we go. The members of our boys cross country team: Nathan Adams, Bryce Banning, Noah Bennett, Charlie Borland, Jacob Borland, Sean Bryan, Luke Connard, Colton Crouch, Calvin Edwards, Zachary Grimm, Cade Hahn, Jacob Hall, Elijah Johnson, Maxwell Kipp, Ethan Kopinski, Elisha Kerr, Seth Larson, Logan Lehman, Elijah Mann, Milo Rinkenberger, Fisher Rinkenberger, Gavin Ruppel, Henry Smith, Owen Spezio, Carter Stevens, Samuel Tellefson, and Alex Bolt. The head coach of the boys cross country team is Benjamin Page, and he is a volunteer assistant, Ben Davidson. Now here are the members of the girls cross country team: Kaylee Otten, Krista Baker, Bailey Butler, Janie Herman, Addison Hoosty, Maggie Forstemke, Heidi Hudson, Madeline James, Olivia Micklick, Olivia Nordhelm, Sophia Nordhelm, Sophia Ramirez, and Allie Wolliver. The head coach of the girls cross country team is Troy Walcott.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the 2022 Cheer Squad. They will be in.
And our final groups to be announced this evening are the members of the JV and varsity football cheerleading squad.
Random. Just say GB's random.
We will announce those squads with the JV team in alphabetical order, followed by the varsity team, and also in alphabetical order. And then they will lead us through our school fight songs here this evening before we get to our varsity football scrimmage. So again, starting off with the JV football cheerleading squad: Ella Adams, Kelsey Adams, Lauren Booster, Megan Bucher, Stella Byler-Dan, Courtney Carbaugh, Peyton Everett, Aaliyah Fries, Erica Garcia, Izzy Garrison, Sydney Goebel, Allison Gruber, Addison Hyder, Ava Hubler, Maggie Lawson, Reese Mahoney, Grace Reed, and Sylvia Sadoff. And now here are the members of the varsity football cheerleading squad. Avery Bennett, Bree Bright, Molly Brogan, Lily D'Amico, Kennedy DeWitt, Emma Eddy, Jaden Erkman, Sophie Kaminsky, Maddie McGinnis, Olivia Mounts, Lauren Nettles, Fallon Nimrick, Leah Oliphant, Lily Otto, Ellie Quinn, Ashley Schellenberg, Beth Seidel, Brooklyn Ulick, and Emily Webb. The head coach of the cheerleading squads is Mo Minahan-Dom, and the assistant coaches are Kara Kaminsky and Sam Garcia.
Well, Blake Bauer, we are back in 2022. It is Inside Panther Night. What is your mentality for 2022? You looking forward to this one?
Excited. It's going to be a great school year. It's going to be a great sports season. Excited to see the football team and see if they can build on what they did last year with that Elite Eight appearance. So it's going to be an exciting year.
To the 6 fans that have joined us here at home, we appreciate you. This is a test live stream tonight. We are joined by the best production man that we could possibly find. Mr. Alex Calhoun is in the house. He wrestles at nearly 148 pounds, but during the night and the fall, he is working the camera and he's working the production. So, Alex, thanks for joining us. It is indeed Inside Panther Night. We just listened to Mr. Brett Parrott, speech guru, go through nearly 400 athletes, Coach. That's pretty impressive that Washington High School is this involved.
And he only messed up, 3 or 4 names? That's impressive.
So you were counting the errors of the speech teacher. That is interesting that you did that. Let's hope he doesn't do that when he comes down to your weight training class to see you.
All the errors that I've
made. That's right. You don't want to mess up in weight training class, though. That might lead to an injury. So we are here, though, for a sole purpose tonight of not only honoring our fall athletes, but we are also taking a good look here at the 2022 version of Darryl Crouch's football team. Coach, what's the word in the hallways of Waco High when it comes to this year?
Well, you lose some good players from last year with Drew Lewis, Noah Burlett, Isaac Mapson. Defensively, you lose Kate Beachside. I know you didn't have Brock Skeggs, but you really lose a leader there. So some holes that need to be filled. You know, who's going to step up and take those spots, and who's going to lead this team? That's the question that we're going to find out.
And we are enjoying the sounds of the Washington fight song as the cheerleaders are performing the fight song down at the Babcock Field track. You brought up some points that we're going to talk about throughout the night. Washington has said goodbye to some seniors that was an incredible class of athletes, fine young men. You brought up the name Brock Skaggs on his way to Missouri Baptist. Cade Beachside, I've seen that he's off to a great start in Missouri Baptist. How do you replace players that played at the level that they did? Can you do that? Can you do that immediately? Is this going to be something that Coach Crouch and his staff work on throughout the season?
I think they've been working on that since probably December, January, with the weight room stuff, what they did in the summer. They've been building those players all summer, and they're probably ready to step in and take on those roles.
So for those of you at home, we are going to do our best to try to describe to you the action on the field. Of course, next week will be our first live stream. It's going to be Highland at home. We are looking forward to it. It'll be a full production. It'll be a production in which we will be fully prepared to tell you about Highland, to tell you about ourselves. Tonight is a trial style, though, where we're just going to talk through some things. If there are technical glitches, we apologize in advance, but I promise you they will be worked out before next Friday's game. So, Coach, we have an orange squad and a black squad. I heard the murmurings throughout the hall fairly quickly here today. The kids didn't even know what team they were on until about 7th hour.
That's fun.
So there could be some chemistry issues out here.
But that's, you know what, and we always talk about that.
That was number 14 for the Panthers. A good opportunity to talk about the young 5'10", 160-pound senior. That, of course, is Jake Stewart, a three-sport phenom here at Washington High School. A rare feat in the 21st century to not only play three sports, but to excel at three sports. What could Jake bring to the backfield as a quarterback?
Well, I think what he really brings is leadership. He's a guy that people follow. He's a great leader of a team, and you won't find a kid that works harder than Jake Stewart.
Yeah, 5'10", 160 pounds is not the measurement of that young man's heart. So we saw a fake handoff, a quick pass to the outside. We just saw a pitch to the left. Coach Crouch is notoriously known for being diverse, adjusting to his personnel. If you're looking at this team from afar, and your Highland, your Kankakee, how about this week 3 matchup, Metamora? Sure. What do you think those teams are predicting this Washington Panthers football team's going to do?
You know, if Jake Stewart is at the quarterback spot, you know that Coach Crouch is 42 power. I mean, he really wants to run the ball up the middle.
You're talking to a basketball coach. Tell me a little bit about 42
he wants to hand that ball and go right up the middle with it. But this, if you're watching at home, this is what you might see from a Jake Stewart. Get him on rollouts, get him in some space, let him make quick decisions, toss plays from the backfield. Get Jake in space and give him that option of run or pass.
Sure, that was 6', 160-pound junior linebacker Matteo Seaman bringing down Stewart as he scrambled out to the right. The Panthers' defense is always stout behind the incredible guru defensive man Todd Stevens. We have talked to the coaches, although we have not sat down and necessarily interviewed them like we will for Highland. I can tell you that they are excited about many of the components on the defensive side of the football. And some of the names that have been brought up are Jace Harlan, and we have heard the name Phillips brought up. Coach, is that embedded in a team? Is it in their DNA that Washington's known for power running and great football on the defensive side? Is that just something these kids come into the program and then this happens?
I think that's probably built from JFL. You know, they understand at the JFL level, here's what is expected at the high school, and this is what we need to get instilled in our kids. And, you know, we talk about rebuild. I always feel like Washington, they just kind of we reload. We just get new players that come in every year, and they step up to those challenges that were left from the players that graduated. And that's a successful program when you continuously reload every single year.
Some miscommunication there on the handoff as Stewart nearly took out his own running back. That'll be addressed on game film, I'm sure, on Monday. So we're seeing guys exchanging in and out. This is the joy of Inside Panther Night. Guys are going to get an opportunity. Some of them, hopefully, understand that this is an opportunity to show themselves underneath the Friday night lights.
Absolutely, and you got to think that Coach Crouch is probably going to keep things pretty vanilla offensively. Coach Stevens is probably going to keep things pretty vanilla defensively just because, you know, if somebody is here watching this, you know, they don't want to show too much for next week and the week after.
Now, Mr. Blake Bauer, who in their right mind would go to a Friday night scrimmage to actually scout orange versus black?
You never know.
I mean, you would almost think, like, would a basketball staff ever go to such measures to go to St. Louis to watch a team prior to the TOC? Surely they would never do something like that. Now, who would be crazy enough to drive that far to tape a scrimmage? But, hey, ladies and gentlemen, back to football here. So we are watching our first special teams play of 2022, although it will not be registered as official statistic. And that, of course, was the punter as we get better and better here. I do believe that might have been Mitch Coughlin that was kicking that football, number 15, a multi-sport athlete, a young man that's committed to Bradley University to go play soccer.
I think that was Jacob Walker back to return for the Panthers. So he potentially could be a kick returner, punt returner for them this year.
Lots of new faces out there for the Panthers. When you graduate the young men that they graduated, and there was some outstanding talent that was in that backfield. Just think about the names I'm about ready to say. Jack Lemus, Thomas Borges, and you described Skaggs and Bishai and Mapson and Lewis and Burlett.
Brock Pollard.
I mean, Brock Pollett's out there. We could go on and on and on about that senior class that was not only productive on a football field, but they were productive in so many other areas inside the high school. But these young men out here are going to have their chance to shine, and we're going to see it right now. That is quarterback number 4 for the Panthers, and he is listed as Nick Gomez, but I do not believe that is Nick Gomez. That very well might be Preston Nelson out on the field, although on the roster that we were given prior to the game, it does say Nick Gomez. But we're going to go with Preston Nelson, young man in his first year at Washington Community High School.
I believe that was E.J. Phillips who caught that pass. He was wide open in the flat.
Also a reminder that
we see on the sidelines there's a bevy of football coaches, all of them so experienced. Some of Darryl Crouch's success has to be the fact that his staff has stayed with him from beginning all the way now here to his second to last year, Coach. I don't know if you're aware of that, but indeed, Coach Crouch is nearing retirement, irreplaceable, future Hall of Famer for sure, but he has got assistance, and continuity means consistency, and Washington has that. That is number 8, Jack Godinez, young man that sits in my second to last row, third seat in 7th hour, United States history. Good to see him out running the football here on a Friday night.
I had Jack in PE class last year.
It's just these little nuggets, these little tidbits of information that all 7 viewers are enjoying right now, I'm sure, as they're listening to us. It's nice to see Coach Crouch wearing shorts tonight. If you're unaware of it, he is a short-wearing machine. It could be 4 degrees out here, and that man would be wearing shorts. He's a lot tougher than both of us combined.
That is a true statement. I don't know if I've ever seen him wear long pants.
There is Godinez with the handoff. Godinez off around to the left, and he is forward for a gain of about 13 on the play.
It's a little mix-up in the backfield about with the handoff there, but Godinez has shown some good power and speed around the end, and those are important things to get worked out now. Practice is so much different than this. People are in the stands. There's officials. There's, PA announcer. There's a clock. Things are so much different out here than when they are in practice.
And that point just cannot be reiterated enough. That you can practice, you can drill, you can do all of those things. A nice pass there as he sat right in the middle of that black defense for the Panthers. Coach, get me a number on that young man if you could. That was number 22 or 29. That is Kyson Ford with a nice catch. Preston Nelson with a nice pass. But the drills, the one-on-one drills, the 11 on air, the 11 on 11 walkthroughs, again, nothing is going to replicate this. You have all of the things that make it look like a football game on a Friday night. Let's go ahead and get some film on it and watch it. I'm sure it's what the coaching staff is saying.
Yeah, this will be great feedback for them.
And the Orange Squad putting together a nice little run together here. That is, again, Jack Godinez with the power run. I like the way that number 4, Preston Nelson, sold that. After he handed off, it looked like it could have been a potential pass. It's those little things that perhaps we're working on that they're going to watch. They're going to break it down. Defensively, Coach, we've been focusing on offense right now. Defensively, what does Todd Stevens typically do week in and week out? We talk 3-4, 4-3. The NFL is constantly talking about cover 2, zone versus man. What is Coach Stevens?
He will go 4-3. He'll run some 3-4. He might have probably a nickel package every once in a while with that extra safety in there, especially if you get against a team that likes to go that 5 wide. He'll run some nickel. But, yeah, that 4-3 base defense is pretty standard. And, watching him at practice last year was awesome. The way he worked and the way he set all of his players up for success and the way he went over every single scout on a team, it was very impressive.
Do football teams adjust to personnel, though? Are you 4-3 maybe one year,
absolutely.
and then the
Yep.
next year you adjust to what you have? Would make sense. I'm sure most sports in high school are probably willing to be flexible. You have to be. That passes out into the flat. A nice wrap up there on the far side by the Panther defender. So Washington's schedule, it's a good opportunity to talk about that. They're going to lead off the year with Highland,
who I believe returns 19 starters.
That is what I've heard Coach Crouch talk about multiple times. I saw an interview on TV. 19 starters. And then, Coach, Washington survives Highland, hopefully, week number 1. And then Kankakee.
Kankakee.
Tell us your thoughts on Kankakee.
They're good. And they return a lot of players
He's
from
the
last
best
year.
color. He's the best color man
good.
that you can possibly
though?
have.
Kankakee last year beat us 28-14, and there were a lot of moments in that game that I felt like if we would have just made a play here and a play there, we could have beat that team.
And that was a game, if memory serves me correct, that first quarter, if we could hit the reset button, it's almost like a video game. If you could just hit that reset button, get another life, and go back to work, they jumped on us very early.
They did, and they had some speed, and we might have been a little shocked at it at first, but then once we settled into the game, we kind of controlled that speed. We controlled the game a little bit, other than a few breakout plays, maybe one or two. I thought we did it. We held our own, and I think they should have a lot of confidence going up there this year.
Washington's orange squad is in the red zone. It is third down in about 8 as Nelson falls back into the pocket, and that is possibly going to be a touchdown off a screen pass. The defensive line took the bait for sure. Nice little action by the orange squad. Doesn't seem to be much emphasis on score. I feel like I'm at a Washington Park District little Hooper game right now where they just kind of let you play out. And every now and then, though, there's that parent in the crowd that's definitely keeping track of the score.
Oh, yes.
Were you that parent at T-ball this summer?
No,
Did you
absolutely.
keep track of the score?
No, I did not. I tried to sit back, not say anything, and just watch my kid and his team play.
Coach, did Mrs. Bauer keep track of the score?
No, she did not.
Okay. Too busy on Instagram,
Probably,
perhaps.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's got something they got to do. And that is the extra point. That is for sure the Bradley commit. Number 15, Mitchell Coughlin. His leg has been warmed up.
And if you, I mean, look at Sporer last year. If Mitch can step in and do what Sporer did, that's a heck of a weapon.
It's a huge part of the game. Having special teams at any NFL, college, high school, it all matters. But in high school, a special teams game can be a huge difference maker.
You know, you talk about punts, flipping the field. Field position is a huge thing in high school, and kickoff. Can you get it out? Can you get it out of the end zone? No return allowed. Flipping that field on field position is a huge thing.
So it's almost inconceivable to me that Coach Crouch has been here for 18 years. I remember the initial year that I joined Coach Brown's staff of basketball. Coach Crouch was in his first years as a Washington coach, and to go back and look at these 18 years of just unbelievable success, not only winning during the regular season, playoff runs, but let's check all those boxes and check the box that he does a great job and his staff does a great job of having good kids,
absolutely,
high character kids. They put in tons of time, they do tons of community stuff, and now they're out here on a Friday night, oftentimes entertaining 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people in the stands.
And he holds them accountable in the building. We see him all the time in the lunchroom, and just his presence, he makes it known in the lunchroom. He makes it known that, man, those guys got to keep straight, because if they don't, he's going to know, and he lets them know when they don't.
Now, when you were quarterback at Dunlap back in the Ice Age, how long ago was that now?
Oh, goodness. 18 years.
18 years ago. So Coach Crouch was taking over at Washington.
Yes.
When you were playing football.
I had just graduated, and he would have come in the next year, I believe.
You want to relive the glory days at all?
I don't need to.
So what brings that up is Jake Stewart was back in the pocket. There was pressure coming from the left and the right, the outside, the inside. Everybody eased up. Are there rules right now in the quarterback? You're not allowed to hit him here at Inside Panther Night.
Probably there's somewhat rule. Generally, you might see a quarterback in a red jersey. Obviously, in this game, you don't have that. But, yes, I would imagine they're going to want to keep Jake and Preston and all the quarterbacks on their feet as much as they can.
So if Jake ever requests a red jersey during basketball practice,
that's not going to happen.
That won't happen. We will not ease up on him. So, Mr. Stewart, please make sure you don't request that. So the black team is back to punt again. There is no score. If you want to check out the scoreboard, it's zeros across the board. That's the only way to keep track of Inside Panther Night. If you're wondering exactly what this night's all about, this is an awesome, awesome event where you can watch cross country. You can go over and check out the swimmers at 5 points. I know that Coach Kerry Dowling's volleyball squad played tonight over in Torrey Gym. The golfers have already started their season. Multiple events already that they've been to. So it has been a jam-packed fall, and what a perfect opportunity to talk about this. A jam-packed fall that feels like 2018, 2019.
Yep, for sure. That's it feels. Is normal the right word again? I don't know, but it just feels. When we started school, it felt like there was a good vibe. There was positives. The kids were coming in with smiles on their faces. They were happy. They wanted to be there, and it just feels. It does. It feels
Agree.
good.
You know, we talk a lot about the growth of Washington. I believe the enrollment now is over 1,500 students. Over 60 kids have transferred into the district here just this summer alone. It's a rapidly growing building, but it's also a vibrant building that's full of good staff, great kids, parents that totally understand what's needed to make successful communities like this. But it is neat to see the NPR full during lunchtime.
Yep.
It's really, really cool after school to walk through and see all those kids congregating.
Yep.
And it's pretty darn cool tonight. This is Inside Panther Night. There is no foreign team, no rivalry here. This is not Metamora Morton. And Alex, I don't know if you can get it, but that student section over there looks pretty impressive for a scrimmage game. And that is Washington at its best. We can't wait to see that thing packed for the Highland game next Friday.
Absolutely.
Which will be our first official broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, where we will bring you everything and anything you've ever wanted to know about Washington football and Highland football. Home of quick quiz question. Well, Mr. Blake Bauer. Mr. Blake Bauer. Mr. Blake Bauer is freezing.
I am.
Now, he might not have a job on Monday if he continues to freeze on this Highlander.
Was Dr. Freeman there?
Dr. Kyle Freeman is a graduate of Highland High School.
Oh, he graduated from that.
Yes,
I thought he worked there.
He is a graduate of Highland High School.
My apologies.
Football player. He's got a little one out there, number 49 on the freshman squad, Will Freeman.
I will remember that on Friday night.
Please. Yeah, you'll definitely have to bring that up. We might have to do some research into Dr. Freeman's playing career, see exactly what he looked like on the old. There was a guy that broke deep. It looks like Preston Nelson has broken through too. He did have a man running down, but he was under duress and under pressure. As Washington continues now to probably, I would agree with you, I would think, vanilla here. Doing very simple things.
Yep.
We do have a player that is hobbling off the field. That is number 86 for the Panthers. And number 86 is not listed. That might be number 98. 98, Malik McCarron. So the Washington coaching staff, under Darryl Crouch, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers in 2022-23. He is in his 20th year. He was here even before Coach Crouch arrived at the WAC-OI campus. That's Mr. Todd Stevens, football coach by night, social studies teacher during the day. Special teams coach, the savvy 24-year veteran Coach O'Neill. Coach O'Neill has been a stalwart of Washington football now for over 2 decades. Varsity assistant, Washington alum, offensive lineman back in the 1990s, left-handed power bat. Coach, who am I describing?
Oh.
This is so much fun right now.
It is, because he's stumping me on all these questions.
Head baseball coach, Mr. Bauer.
Coach Kyle Wisher.
is correct. Coach Kyle Wisher has a freshman son that we heard introduced. Cash Wisher is a freshman on the freshman football team. So the Varsity Panthers are still working on some things as Jace Harlan is now lined up in the backfield. You also have lined up behind Preston Nelson, that is number 7. That is Ian Nettles. Young man sits in my 5th hour class along with Mrs. Dayoff. Outstanding participant that raises his hand nonstop. So let's talk a little bit about the next coach, Rob Garcia. Coach, what do you know about Coach Garcia? What's he bring to the football squad?
He brings a lot of intelligence, especially at the wide receiver position. I know he works with that group. And he also runs 4 verticals, which is in Washington. And he does a great job with all these kids around the area, working on the details of being a receiver. And I think he does quarterbacks too, I believe.
He does. Owns a local business, 4 verticals, that if you follow them, definitely not only just Washington kids going and learning from his tutelage, but also area kids are definitely taking advantage of it. Coach Zach Davis, a cohort of yours, fellow PE coach. I know you guys work hand in hand.
We do.
What is Coach Davis's role?
So he does a lot offensively with the quarterbacks. He does a lot up in the booth during the game as far as play calls go. He's kind of the eyes up here. He's the eyes in the sky, I guess you would say, for Coach Crouch and what he sees. He brings a lot of passion to it. He cares about the kids. And like I said, works directly with the quarterbacks and meets with them, I think, every Thursday or Wednesday morning early to go over film and to kind of review what they're going to see that upcoming week.
Nice. So an important duty.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
probably tons of work outside of just game
A lot
night.
of work. I think these guys, people don't realize how much work they put in. They don't see the hours on a Saturday and Sunday after a Friday night game that they watch film. They put together a game plan. I mean, like we were talking about earlier with Coach Stevens and the defensive game plan, that had to take hours to do, to be that detailed.
Absolutely. And besides the coaches putting in hours, some of the young men, along with so many other athletes at Washington, whether it's cheerleaders, cross country, volleyball, put in so much time outside of their actual seasons, balancing going to a weight room, balancing going to special places like Max Fit 360 with Adam Miller and Cole Henderson, or maybe they're going and partaking in a club activity. But the cool thing, Coach, that we have found a great balance out at Washington that I personally am most proud of is the number of multi-sport athletes that our high school is producing in the last 5, 6, 7 years, and hopefully will continue to do that.
Correct.
You have a lot of kids in virtually all of these fall sports that were introduced tonight that you and I were up here talking about. They're going to be busy in the winter. They're going to be busy in the spring. And I do believe that Washington will keep it right there because that's fun to watch kids do multiple things.
Absolutely it is. And I think like you always talk about, Coach, it keeps them competitive. And it keeps them competitive year-round and in different sports.
That is a strong arm. Running to the left, throwing back across his body. That's a pretty impressive feat, albeit it was high and wide.
Yeah, that would have been a tough throw to make in the corner of the end zone, but he had the strength. The accuracy wasn't quite there, but that was a tough throw, and he showed some arm strength there. But it keeps them competitive, and what I really love about it is they support each other. You get a lot of football players that come support the basketball team. You get a lot of basketball guys that go support the football team. And they go to volleyball games. They go to soccer games. They go to baseball games. They go to softball games. So they all support each other, and that's really cool to see from this community and all these athletes.
So here on a Friday night inside Panther Night Babcock Field, Washington High School has been in school since last Friday. They have 5 full days under their belt this week. They went to school 1 day last week, so it was day number 6. The halls are busy. It's good to be out here at the field right now, seeing this being busy. The gym is going to get fired up on Monday for the first home volleyball match. So there are things going on everywhere, all over Washington. Yep. So the black team now for the Panthers takes over. And scrambling out of the pocket is number 14, Jake Stewart. And Stewart is wrapped up before he passes the ball down the field. Well, I can tell you one thing. If Coach Stevens hears Darryl Crouch call out a play, he will know what's
He
coming.
knows what's coming.
We used to call
and
those
vice
scout
versa.
team heroes.
If Coach Crouch knows, if he hears what Coach Stevens calls, he knows that we're making a check at the line.
That would be fun to watch. That might be fun to put the headsets on and just listen to that banter going back and forth. There is Stewart again back in the pocket, and Stewart again is wrapped up. So an offensive line is so important in the game of football. It is the untalked about, or the not talked about entity. We're so quick to talk about the skill, the running back, the wide receiver, of course, the quarterback. Turn on any sports center, and it's those positions.
Right.
Coach, the offensive line for this football team, just watching right now, seeing some of the guys that are lined up, that is a young offensive line that appears to be on the field right now for not only the orange squad, but also the black squad as well. What does that mean for the development of this team if indeed they are inexperienced?
Nice throw.
That's a beautiful ball by number 14, Stewart, as he connects with the wide receiver, number 34 on the play. A nice catch indeed.
Well,
that is Brayson Barth.
The offensive line is so important, defensive line too. And those are the guys that, like you say, they don't get any credit. Well, they do, but not as much as, we are first to talk about the quarterbacks and the running backs, the guys that score the touchdowns. But the offensive line, the guys that block for him, they make it all happen up front, because if the quarterback doesn't have time, he can't get that ball to the wide receiver. If they don't make that hole for the running back, he's not scoring a touchdown. When you have a young offensive line, it's there's going to be some growing pains, but the more reps they get, the better they will become, and the more cohesive unit they'll be.
So we see on the right side of that line a returnee from last year's squad. He was only a sophomore last year. Henry Warwick, 5'11", 215 pounds. He looks like he has lived in a weight room here for the last months, probably the last 9 months, to prepare himself. As a junior, a highly motivated kid. Is he the anchor of the offensive line this year?
Yeah, and he's at left tackle right now, which if you got a right-handed quarterback, that's your blind side. So that's an important part of the offensive line. And you're right, he looks like he has worked hard to really get some thickness on his body, and he looks athletic.
That ball is intercepted by the orange squad. That was number 29 on the pick. That is Kyson Ford.
But, yeah, he'll be the anchor, and he'll probably be the guy they look to for leadership. But I'm excited for him. He's as a freshman, you heard some things about him, and he was good. And now it's almost like, okay, here's his time. This is his 2 years to be that leader on the offensive line.
So onto the field again is Preston Nelson. He will be the quarterback. He's now joined by Seth Carball. That's number 1, who is in the slot. We also see 2 wide receivers here on the near side. We're doing our best with numbers. That's number 20 now out there on the football field. Some of these numbers are not updated for us. Number 20 is not listed. Number 8 is out there. That's Jack Godinez again. Nelson takes the shotgun snap. Nelson airs it out, and that ball is completed to Seth Carball. So a breakdown defensively for sure.
Yes, somebody was not in the right coverage.
Look at Jack Godinez moving down the field to go celebrate with him. Coach, that's just to go celebrate. How fast is that child just when he's running with a football in his hands? That's impressive. That would have taken me about 45 more seconds to get down there.
Right. That's being excited for your teammate right there.
What mixed emotions right now? Let's just act like we're Coach Crouch. You have a nice pass, you have a nice catch, touchdown, but yet the other team broke down on defense.
Right.
So do you celebrate with one side of your mouth and then chew butt with the other side of your mouth?
Yes.
Is that what's going on out here?
Or you leave that to Coach Stevens, and he takes care of that part.
For sure. I say hand it over to Coach O'Neill and just let him go to work. So this is a flag. That is our first flag of 2022, but it's only inside Panther Knights, a scrimmage. We won't get too excited about that. I say you shove Coughlin all the way back to about a 45-yarder. Let's see if he can do it.
See what happens.
Why not? There's no rules. I did get to watch while on vacation in Colorado. Just thought I'd bring this up for absolutely no reason. Waterboy. What an epic movie that is.
Mud Dogs win the Bourbon Bowl.
Yes, right. Just the children and I sat down. We just enjoyed ourselves. Some good Adam Sandler. And there will be multiple references throughout the year of me bringing up Waterboy. I don't want to give them all right now on this beautiful Friday night. They'll leak out during
Save
the
'em.
Highland game.
Mama said.
Yep, Mama said. That's for sure. So it's still 0-0 sometimes here. I don't know how. And there's 0 time left on the clock.
And I don't know if they going by. Does each team get 3 or 4 drives? I don't know how they're doing this tonight, or if it's based on, just a regular timer.
If I was in charge,
30
we'd
minutes.
be here until we figured things out. So it might be midnight. We're joined in the booth now by Mr. Herb Noblock, Athletic Director of Washington High School. Mr. Noblock did a nice job of talking to all of the spectators, gave us some great statistics. Over 400 athletes are currently involved in fall sports here at Washington, and over 200 band members. Over half of the student body is involved somehow, some way during the fall season.
Little mix-up there. Everybody took off, and the center didn't snap the ball. So, little mix-up. Those will get corrected, though.
And they're just going to work through these things and get all of these things figured out. You've got to do those. I'm sure Monday's practice will be a practice that is very detailed, and the coaches are going to go dissect this. Now, they'll have a busy weekend most likely because you'll want to dissect this. That's Madden Mendoza, by the way. That is number 10. Madden Mendoza, what a work ethic this young man has. He has definitely lived in a weight room here for the past 5 or 6 months. Oftentimes, Coach, we've seen him double up after a football workout and then put his due time in with his basketball teammates as well.
And especially now, still comes in, hangs out with the guys, watches them play for a little while, goes home, goes to bed, doesn't stay here too late. But just he's a team guy. He's in it for the right reasons. He's a team guy.
So Mendoza under center, it's the I formation.
Oh.
That could have been miscommunication as well. It looked like he was ready to pitch left and ended up pitching right, as that was his only viable option left. So the Panthers are rotating freely. Our squad has done this in the past, that during the season, I do believe that Coach Crouch, Coach Stevens, the rest of the staff tends to settle in pretty quickly, though, after the first couple weeks of these are the guys that are going to take most of the minutes, most of the reps, most of the snaps.
And this is a good opportunity, again, for the guys who maybe are a little bit farther down the depth chart to go in and prove something, say, hey, I can give you this offensively, I can give you this defensively. They may see something that, even if it's small, you're on the punt return team, or you're on, kickoff. Those are ways to get on the field and get yourself noticed.
Well, I remember last year we talked to teams that played Washington, and they were telling us about their players. And so many teams that we played last year had guys that were on special teams, defense, and offense. They were playing all 3 phases. And there were times that you and I spoke about that Washington had guys that did that, but we also had guys that were on special teams or only played defense. Do you think that plays a factor in a season as it grinds on? If you have, instead of just 11 guys playing everywhere, you have 20, 25, 30 guys that can do a lot of different roles.
Yeah, that helps because if you don't have to take guys that have to play 2 ways or 3 ways, that can take a toll on your body. If you can find guys that are just on kickoff or just on punt return, that's just a couple more plays that they're off the field, not taking that physical, beating from plays of getting hit, and just it does. It helps to have as many guys as you can who can play a role, and
it's an aggressive sport.
Yeah,
and it's a sport of attrition.
Yeah,
so depth does win.
Yeah. I mean, you think about these offensive linemen. There's contact every single play. After a game, they're beat up.
Mendoza hands off. When we get a number on the running back, we will definitely let you know exactly who it is. And that was a fumble on the play. Jace Harlan, number 44, came up with the fumble recovery. So Orange is going to take back over even though they have touched that end zone a few times, it's still 0-0. Just making sure you get that update. Mr. Calhoun continues to do a great job. We're really looking forward to next week, Friday. There's some special surprises for you that we'll let you know about. There's going to be a second camera that's going to jump up into this press box. So we will have the broad lens view, and then we will also have the ability to go in close and tight. So we're going big time. This is big time, 21st century stuff. We have gone a long way. After tonight's game, though, Coach, I do plan on going to Kep's, enjoying some food afterwards. And then I think I'm going to go and play some Atari after that. Or maybe pull out my Nintendo. Anyway, though, I guess that's a little outdated for such things. But we are definitely going to have a pretty darn impressive stream coming to you here for the Highland game in week number 1.
Excited about it, too. Is this year 3 for us?
This is year 3. Year 1, we used the Huddle Cam. And the Huddle Cam was delayed by about 5, 6, 7, or 8 minutes every now and then.
Yep.
We would call a game, and it just didn't quite go as planned. And then last year, with the help of Mr. Clifford and Mr. Reiser and Caleb, we were able to get the equipment that we had that made it a little better. And now this year, it's going to be exciting for those people out there to be able to watch an event that is in real time with real sound in the backdrop.
Quality camera work, too, from Mr. Calhoun here.
Mr. Calhoun's informed us that he'll be attending Columbia in Chicago.
With our help, he might be the best.
With our help. As long as you don't touch the computer or the camera, we should be good to go.
Yeah.
The Mendoza under center, I formation. Mendoza hands off to the fullback, and he is wrapped up almost immediately. Coach Crouch did say earlier in the week that the defense was, at this moment, was far ahead of the offense when it came to execution. Is that typical for a football team at this point?
I would say so. I think that's typical, especially when when you've got the changes offensively that you've had, right? New quarterback. Pretty much, your running backs are brand new this year. They're not new. They were in the program, but they didn't see many snaps last year.
Offensive lines turned over.
Wide receivers. You're starting with guys who haven't had that many reps on offense.
And if it is accurate that Highland is returning 19 starters from last year, that's going to be a tale of 2 completely different football teams.
Yeah, that's an experienced team coming back. And we say experienced as far as the amount of reps they have, right? Because they could be juniors, but if they've been starting since they were sophomores, that's a lot of reps. And more reps is better anytime you're talking about that. So, but then you think about us, younger this year as far as experience goes, but next year we'll be returning a bunch of seniors.
Correct. Take this moment just to talk a little bit about the fall sports and other sports that are going on here besides just the football team. So many kids and so many coaches put in so much time to make this happen and to make this a great fall season. Our boys cross country and our girls cross country teams were introduced earlier. A long-time seasoned veteran girls cross country coach, of course, Coach Walcott, and a brand new boys cross country coach. He's been around for quite some time, but Ben Page is taking that over. Both of them work inside of the building, and they're going to be out on the cross-country courses. Dan Garski takes up the boys' golf coach again. Coach Garski has already been in action a few times. I know Coach is excited. He has a young squad. He has some veterans that are coming back, and they have already shown improvement in back-to-back matches. The girls' golf coach, he's brand new to the gig. He's my next-door neighbor in the basement of Wacko Eye. Coach Dan Marsh. During the spring, he could be found in a baseball dugout. And now during the fall, he's a girls' coach. Volleyball coach, Kerry Dowling. Talk about building a program.
Absolutely, yep.
We see that firsthand. Those numbers are through the roof. 17 freshmen on the freshman squad, a full sophomore squad, and then a varsity squad that's got a little bit of everything from freshmen to sophomores to juniors and to some very experienced seniors. Coach, you're pointing something out on the field. What do you got?
Good throw from Jake Stewart there. Rolling to his left, thrown across his body. It's a nice throw. He put it on a dart. And
did he hold his follow-through?
He did.
Nice. It's always important for shooters to hold their follow-through.
Even when we're not at basketball,
It's always basketball.
it's always basketball.
Boys soccer coach Chad Clift is going to have a squad that is going to be something that you want to come out and watch. They have athletes all over the field. They have some guys that are going to be able to carry us and take us to levels that our soccer team perhaps has never gotten to. So we're excited about the 2022 soccer team and exactly what they're going to do. As for the tennis, we didn't see the girls' tennis team under the direction of Gary Garver, and that is not just all. There is also the swim team under Kathleen Tullochson. They were introduced as well. Cheerleaders, they're always playing a huge role. They're going to be out here when it's 5 degrees. They're going to be out here when it's 80 degrees. They're going to be in the winter sports. Those girls, we see them in the NPR. They are here 3-4 days a week practicing well after school. Coach, who do we have a quarterback right now? That is Stewart.
I do not.
That is Stewart out of the shotgun. There are so many different colors out here now on the field. We had black and orange versus each other at one point. Now we have black. Now we have black and orange on the same team. We do have some numbers that have been traded out too. So if we mistakenly identify somebody.
I thought the orange was the quarterback at first, and then Jake came running in with the play.
Is that better? The sound better now? Working out some glitches here. If you tell me not to breathe, that could be problematic.
No, it wasn't that. It was too close, so your voice was kind of like spiking the microphone.
Okay. It's not the first time I've been accused of having way too loud of a voice. Maybe I'll whisper into the mic. And the crowd now is starting to find ways to exit. I see some moms starting to walk kids out of here. It is getting a little bit late, but Friday night, this place is going to be rocking. There's nothing better than that home opener at Babcock Field.
I bet these stands will be full on Friday night.
That first football game, Coach, I used to work security over on the far side. And that first football game, I don't know how many hundreds of kids would be running around.
Yep.
I would ask them to score. They would have no idea. I would ask them why they're here. They would have no idea. But, boy, they were having fun, and that's pretty cool to watch that happen.
They're here to hang out with their friends, eat candy, popcorn, drink soda.
So let's check out right now what's out on the field for us. We've got number 3 for the Panthers. That's Caden Knoll. Next to Caden Knoll, that is number 98, Malik McCarran. A nice hit by number 41, E.J. Phillips, 6'1", 180-pound senior. Number 21 has now entered the game. He is not on the roster. The Panthers are calling up some younger players, I'm sure, sophomores, perhaps even maybe. Some other guys here getting a test to see what they can do under the lights, like you said earlier. Nelson has some quick feet, Coach, as he gets into the open field.
It's a good pocket from the offensive line. You know, they gave him time to throw. He felt the pressure. He got out of the pocket quickly and made really something out of nothing.
There's so much that goes in to a game of football, from awareness and instinct and watching film and just experience. You know, that to me is, I love watching us play. I like watching any football play from week 1 to the last weeks of the season. You really see incremental improvement.
Yeah, and that's every sport, right? And that's even as teachers, that's our goal with our students is, can you improve from week 1 of the semester to the end of the semester and finals? You know?
And there's so many tools now that you can use to improve, just like you just said, not only in the classroom but also in the sporting arena as well. There he is again, scrambling out to the left and throwing across his body. That is definitely a strong arm. Chemistry is going to be important for this football team. Just thinking back to what you were talking about earlier, new wide receivers, new offensive line, new quarterback. This is new.
Yes.
This is new across the board.
And they'll find it. They'll figure it out. It's all like we always talk about with shooting. It's all about reps, right? Just shoot. And it's the same thing here. We got to get reps in. And as soon as they continue to get reps in practice, they'll get better. They'll become more of a cohesive unit.
And I can't wait to see this come together, too, because this is going to be exciting to watch a team of guys that we have not announced. If you think back to last year's team, that was a lot of returnees from the COVID year.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of guys on the field that we got to watch as juniors, and they played well. And then we got to broadcast their games and talk about them as very mature, experienced seniors. We're going to get to play that over again and just watch a whole new batch of young men.
Yeah, and
Coach, have you noticed something? Sorry to interrupt. Have you noticed the frequency right now that Nelson is working out of the shotgun?
Yeah, they're trying to get him more comfortable under center. I think, and I from what I understand is he's been in his last wherever he came from in Wisconsin. I think there were a lot of shotguns, so they're trying to get him comfortable under center. But at the same time, I like that they're getting him in the shotgun too, because that's what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, this is probably the most I've seen a Washington football team work right now from the shotgun, and maybe it's something that we're just kind of toying around with, playing with. I know that if we were in a scrimmage situation, we were playing ourselves in front of a crowd, we would most definitely be experimenting.
Yep, absolutely, and this is the time to do it. Prepare yourselves, and there is talent on this football team.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of talent on this team, and they're going to continue. You're going to see a team right now, and then next Friday, I feel like you might see a football team that's totally different. Like they're going to put it all together, and they're going to see this film. They're going to tweak some things. They're going to move some things around, I'm sure, and then back to work on Monday.
Next weekend, next Friday, we will make sure that we have an accurate roster. I would say that there are multiple young men out there that we do not have numbers for right now. So we are just strictly going off of what we are given. This is a scrimmage, so it's possible to fill numbers that they have brought up some of the younger ranks as well. But we will make sure we're fully prepared to make sure every person is identified. Again, we're joined by Blake Bauer and Alex Cahoon as we are just testing a live stream to make sure that all the glitches are out. I actually thought that ball was intercepted, but that ball was complete. Jake Stewart was wearing a black jersey. Carbaugh was wearing an orange jersey. I couldn't imagine why Jake threw it to Carbaugh like he did, but they were on the same line.
And I'm not keeping score, but I think that's Carbaugh's second touchdown.
But his first touchdown was for the other team. So he's even.
And the rain
is
starting
coming
to come
down. So Carbaugh 7. Carbaugh 7.
Carbaugh is tied with Carbaugh. And the rain's coming down, and the people
are exiting.
Starting to head for the exits.
We are in
I like it, going for 2. And Carbaugh
is now up. Carbaugh is actually up 8-7 now at this point. Mr. Calhoun is not only our production man, he is also a meteorologist. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is no need for a post-game as we are just now ending our test run today. We will get those glitches. We will talk about what we need to talk about. We'll be back with 2 cameras, a spotter, a broadcaster, a play-by-play.
It felt good.
We're back,
We're
Coach.
back.
We'll be talking to Highland throughout the week. We'll be talking to the Washington coaching staff. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next Friday.